my dad's making it hurt.
Hello everyone, and Madayaw. It's me, Teacher Maita, and welcome to this art therapy session. Now, in art therapy, we are going to be trusting the process more than the products. So please don't get frustrated if whatever comes out in today's activity won't be that pretty or perfect. It doesn't have to be. So today's technique, I've learned something new. You might want to research all about it. It's called neurographic art. In neurographic art, we use a lot of shapes and lines to create this. Now, I've tweaked it a little to suit what we are going to be doing today. So these things can be used in a number of different ways. Today, we are just going to decompress and do something, might be fun, or it might be, I don't want to do anything painful, so let's just do something relaxing. So trust this process to relax you. It's not there to solve your problem, mental, emotional, or otherwise. It's really just there to delve into yourself, what you're feeling, what's inside your head. Maybe you can map things out. We're gonna get a little creative here. We don't need a lot of things for this activity. So I'm gonna share my screen so you guys can see what to do. First, let's start with the materials. Alrighty, so you'll need your sketch pad or maybe a blank piece of paper, bond paper, or something a little thick, since I do recommend to use markers. If you can use colored pen, not ball pen, you'll need something a little bit thicker, okay? So you can use Sharpie or these double-headed felt tip markers. You can actually also use colored pencil. You can use crayon. There is so many things that you can use. Just don't use ball pen or pencil because they're very fine tip. We'll need something thick for this. Okay, so first things first, let's start with a clear paper that will represent a clear mind. So just make sure it's blank. You might get tempted to use a scratch paper for this. Let's not do that with this activity. Let's start with a blank piece of paper. I don't even recommend to use yellow pad or any lined or ruled or graphed checkered paper. Just try blank ones. Sketch pad would be great. All right. So then you'll have something like this. Clear mind, clear paper. Breathe in, breathe out. You have a water bottle near you. You might want to have one near you. If not, we can start. Alrighty, next. Draw a circle or oval or egg shape at the center of your paper. It doesn't have to be perfect. Mine isn't perfect, so it's fine. It's fine. Just anything to put at the center of your paper. If you feel like, I don't feel like it being a circle, I want it to be a square, sure, you could do that. You want it to be a flower shape? Yeah, you could do that too. Anything at the center. Next, you can draw 3 shapes around it. Any 3 shapes around it. So I'm gonna do 3 shapes around it. Now you can overlap. How big do these shapes have to be? That will be up to you. As I said, this is part of the process and not the product. Don't overthink it. Just make 3 shapes all around the center shape. So now you will have 4 shapes on the paper. You can have it close to each other. You can maximize the space by having large shapes. So I'm going to show you what I did. So let's start with this. All right. Okay, so the center will represent you. All right, that's you. The 3 shapes all around are the things that you want to achieve right now, like any 3 things you want to achieve right now, but maybe you're having a hard time. It could be college application, maybe it's a PBA, maybe it's your portfolio. So I have 3 shapes here, circular, triangular, and the rectangular ones around my center shape. Now you can write something on it or you don't. Don't color it yet. You may color it later if you feel like it, but not just yet. All right. So yeah, it'll be something like this. Next, you will draw 3 lines that will connect these 3 shapes. 3 lines that can, it doesn't have to intersect like this. Just make sure that they touch your 4, sorry, not 3 shapes, your 4 shapes. So these 3 lines will intersect and connect all 4 shapes. So that's you in the center. You are trying to complete these 3 tasks before you. Okay, so now we have this. The next step we're going to do is we are going to create our corners, or we're going to round our corners. So what does this mean?
Not much was known about them besides the fact that they were ancient and formidable.
See all these? They're sharp corners. We don't want any sharp corners in our sketch. So take all those off by doing these little diamond patterns here. Just make sure to round off any corners. Now, other people will call this nexus. Some people will call it intersection. Some people will just call it neuro points. Whatever you want to call it, that's what we're rounding off. We don't want corners in our sketch because we don't want any corners in our minds. We want some things that are soft, something that we can work with right now, because right now, given our current climate, we don't want anything sharp. So what we're going to do is we're going to round off all the corners. Now I'm just doing this very fast like this, but I'm going to clean it up later, okay? So I'm just showing you that every corner that you see, where those lines intersect, where the shapes intersect. So if you're doing shapes that intersect, make sure that all sharp points are rounded off like so. Now I'm going to teach you another technique in a little bit. So just let me do these little diamond points here, just so each of the corner points are taken care of. All right, so here it is. I've created my nexus points. It's a little rough. So you might ask, Teacher Maita, what's next? It looks like wires with lots of connections. Yes, doesn't it look like wires with lots of connections? Now, this is the artistic part of it. And some would say this is actually the most meditative part of it. Here's what we're going to do.
Supposedly, they declared an eternal and everlasting.
All right, so let me just round up a few more corners. Do you see that I have a triangle here? Even my triangle, I'm going to try to round off the corners of my, the rectangle, I'm sorry, my rectangle here, because it forms forms a lot of triangles. So I'm gonna round it off, and we're going to there, see, any corner that you see, just round it off. We don't want to see anything sharp. All right. All right, so here it is. This is what I have so far. This is the next part.
This could explain this.
We're gonna fix these points, connect them to each other, round off all the points, make sure everything is soft. So I have decided to use a Sharpie for this because it's bright and thick, but you can use anything that you want that's thick. So you can use colored pens, any brand would do. You could even use crayon. You can use colored pens, other colored pencils also. Some people even use watercolor, but I don't suggest you use watercolor just yet. Now, should you wish to paint it, because there are a lot of people who do paint watercolor over their neurographic art, I would suggest that you use alcohol markers. That way, when it dries, it does not smudge. If you use something water-based like Sharpie, or just a felt tip marker that you buy from the store, those might be water-based. And when you apply watercolor on top, it might smudge the whole thing. So if you plan to use a felt tip marker that's not water-based, I'm sorry, that's not alcohol-based, you might want to color using crayon or using pencil, colored pencils. For my neurographic art, I've actually decided not to color it, but add decorations afterwards. So right now, let me just show you this part, because the process of doing this is quite meditative. I do suggest that you take your time doing this, rounding off all corners. Some lines will get thick, and there are some lines that are thin. That's okay. Some lines will disappear with the other. That's okay too. You may choose to color this portion. You can color each shape that it makes in a different color or one single color. That's up to you. Or you can write words within it. So this process is all up to you. You can leave it blank or you can leave it for later, which you can add things to it. All right. Now I am adding these extra lines here on the side. As I said, I want to decorate it. So this is how I want to decorate it. These lines don't actually mean anything. I'm just really trying to fill out the space. So I don't really count how many lines they are. Only the red main ones are the ones that truly matter here. If you don't want to do this process, you may skip it. So I'm just kind of repeating what I'm gonna be, or what I've done here. So I'm gonna intersect some of these lines and curve all the neural lines or the nexus points here. Now you may opt to color this portion, put words, put any decoration that you want on it. So this is just me. You can do this or you can skip this. So I'm just adding more lines just to fill out the space. As I said, this is entirely up to you. So this is my finished product. I opted not to color it. You may do so, you may write things. This is entirely up to you. What do you think? Does it look like something we've lifted out of a science fiction project? So isn't this fun? So I'm going to give you a few more minutes to finish up, smoothen what you want to smoothen, and should you wish to share anything, you can share some on my Facebook. I'm gonna give you some time to round off your edges. If you have any comments or questions, you can put them on the comments down below and I'll try to answer them after the session. All right. Voila. So this is my finished product. Yours will definitely look different than this. Now you can fill out some of these spaces with colors or words. That will be totally up to you. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed this session. You can repeat this session if you'd like to. Here is something that I use a pen, a finer pen with. It did take a little more time because um, to fill out the corners. So this is actually the first neurographic art that I have made. So this is when I was testing things. My circle was not perfect, but it's okay. I decided to leave it at that. So I decided to make another one with two colors. I've actually enjoyed this one, doing this one. So I decided to experiment further with using colors and other overlapping shapes. And of course, my babies were there to help out or observe. So this is all about the process and not the product. I hope you guys enjoyed this session. I hope you guys learned something. There are many applications to doing neurographic art. It's not just trying to connect yourself with what you want to do. You could even, instead of the three shapes that are the most important things that you want to do right now, you can also put there the three things that you want to be right now. So most of art therapy usually deals with the now. You might want to deal with the future, hoping for something for the future, but it's not yet there. So it's always something about the current state that you want to be in, or the current state that you are in, looking forward to something that you want to be, something that you want to do, something that you want to connect with. So this is when we want to connect with something. People even use this for their health. They want to connect with something within themselves, their inner well-being. So there is, as I said, many applications to this. You might want to do your research as well. But I hope I've introduced something creative, at the same time relaxing and soothing. And I did enjoy doing this, and I hope you do too. Thank you very much, everybody. And I hope you can follow my different social media accounts. You can connect with me and maybe see when my next session would be. And I hope you can also watch my YouTube channel where I will post a copy of the recording here. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, and Madayaw.
These my dollars make it hurt.